Welcome, welcome. Tonight we're doing July PoM. There is 2 more days, 1 more day. Tomorrow's the last day, basically, to get the July PoM. It's a wrap, Diane von Furstenberg, Diane's wrap dress. So if you go in and search for wrap dress, there's so many fun ideas. And you all even sent some ideas. So we got all kinds of ideas tonight. Mine, yours, everybody's. So we're just going to top rack dresses, and then I have a whole bunch of fabric for you. A whole bunch of fabric. Okay, so you ready? Let's have fun. All right, so the dress, I didn't make any dresses because I figured y'all knew, just make a dress. Making a dress is not the issue. The issue is a top and making sure it doesn't wrap, which it has B, C, and D side panels. You're just not going to have any problem with the fitting. Do you believe me when I say that? The base is 600, classic blouse. It's so easy. It's just so easy. They just sew together really fun. But so one thing I did when I did this pattern is I was well aware of Diane von Furstenberg's wrap. And I was well aware of the problems with the wrap, which is that it becomes unwrapped at the bust area. So I looked and looked and looked for wraps, and there was a collar. And the collar made all the difference because it allowed a change. I've got it in some drawings. It allowed a different shape of the neckline to come forward, and it really made a big difference. But anyway, I'm just going to show you all this, okay? So we're going to start off with a shawl collar. And this fabric is $74.99. $74.99. It's a pink gauze. It's like a dual layer. It's very pretty. It's just really, really pretty. So as far as the body goes and the sleeve goes, I didn't do anything different. The only thing I did different is I added a collar. I added that shawl collar. Oh, and I made the belt, but I mean, that's not a big deal. So let me show you the picture that kind of gave me the inspiration for this. We'll look at the first picture here. And this is kind of where I got the inspiration. I loved that belt, and I loved holding that shawl collar. I don't even know if it was a shawl collar. I didn't even look that close. But basically, it was some type of lapel. I made it a shawl because it's just easier. And it just comes down, wraps, and that belt holds it in place. And I just thought that was really pretty. So that was the inspiration. And then this is the product. And I'm going to go to the next picture. And I'm just going to show you, this is the pattern work on how to do it. You take the collar, you lay it down. There's a notch at the shoulder seam. You align the notch to the shoulder seam, center front to center front. And then you can see in that picture, the front is just drawn. And the front drawing, when you're drawing this, it's all, it's style. You know, I mean, use a French curve and connect the dots, but it's all style and it's kind of fun, and you'll see that you can't go wrong with it. I mean, I took the selvage of the fabric and I put it in, you know, between the front and the front facing. I did that. I took the fabric and I made a little belt and used one of our new little belt buckles. That is really cute. I really like that. But you can see it's just not hard. Just a couple steps, and it's just fun to play. So get some play time and start to play. It's a cute little top. It's 100% cotton. $74.99 is the fabric. Just easy. Pink gauze. I love it. It's like a variegated pink. Okay? All right, easy enough. So let's look at the next picture. The next picture I just loved. It's a Veronica beard. I kind of copied that with what I have on, because what I want you to see with this, there's a few things I want you to see, and then I'll show you the pattern work. First off, notice the stripes, and notice they're straight at the bottom and straight at the top. Now you can't do that and have gathers, because y'all know in order to have gathers you got to cut and open it up. So that means there had to be a slice. So I actually put a slice, you know, has to be a horizontal cut. Otherwise it's way too bias. And you can tell because that one has stripes that there's a cut in there somewhere. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean there's not one. I meant to get to the store to actually see the dress, but I never got there. Okay, so this is the dress. Notice it's cut curved, there's lots of leg. You know, I think it's great if you want to do that. That's not what I wanted. So I modest-sized it. Modest-sized it. See, that's not a word, but it's just you made it more modest. That's what that's what the word means. Okay, so, but I do like these rings, and I'll have them up in the morning. I don't have them up right now, but I'll have them up in the morning. I didn't have time to get them up today, but we have them. We have them in silver and gold, and they're just fun. They're just fun to play with. Okay, so let's look at how we did it. And if you want to look at this next picture, it's where I made the slashes. And if you noticed, there was 10 inches that I went between, and I opened them up 20 inches. I did a 2-to-1 because I really felt like the ring on that dress, there was a lot of fullness. It wasn't 1.5 to 1, it was 2 to 1. But notice that the slashing goes to the side panel also. You want to make sure that you don't just slash from this piece to this piece. It has to go all the way to the side seam, the slashes do. So when, put them together, and when you start slashing, make sure that whatever's on this side of the seam versus this side of the seam are the same amount so that the seams will draw together. And then I did fun little things like I curved this front and I left this one square. Just, things I wanted to do. But this little belt attaches to the inside right here, and then it goes through, it comes out. I did a little slit, you could do a little buttonhole. It comes around to the back and acts as a little belt in the back, and then comes around, loops around the belt. Okay, so it kind of loops around the belt, loops this way, and buttons. Isn't that cute? I think it's way too cute. So there's so many ways when you're doing a wrap that you can use the belts and there's just so many fun ways. It's endless. So I always say, whoever the first designer was, if you search for Diane von Furstenberg wrap dresses, it's endless. So that's the goal in this pattern, though, was to give you just some ideas so that you would have fun. That really is the goal. 7465 is this fabric that I have on. It's a blue. It's 100% cotton. I think it's perfect for the dress. The sleeve, I just did normal sleeve, and then I just rolled it up. So I wanted just a 3/4 sleeve that was rolled up, casual, nothing fancy, not a lot of work to sew it on. The collar, the fabric was so easy to sew with. Again, 7465, 100% cotton. Okay? Okay. All right, let's go on to the next picture. Next inspiration. I look, and when I say, oh man, I really like that, that's when I stop. So this next one, it was like, oh man, I really like that. Isn't that pretty? Because you really, when you're talking asymmetric sides, you really could do that with a blouse. I didn't do this with this blouse. This is the fabric I got in Italy, but you certainly could. But this is the fabric that is, let me give you the numbers for this, because it's the silk and then a matching sheer. And they're so pretty together. So the sheer is 7431 and the matching is 7430, the silk coordinating. So all I did with this is cut off the collar. So I just left off a piece. And then I cut the sleeve straight. I actually added a little bit to the sides to give it a little bit more fullness when I went to gather it. So I added like a full inch on each side just to give it a little more fullness as it was coming down. But if you look at the next picture, it shows you how to trace the neckline. You're going to flip the French curve over. All right, now this is what I'm talking about when I was talking about how much of the neck this wrap covers, because you're going to see with a collar, when you look at the pattern, that pattern there, you can see the piece comes up. When you have a wrap dress without that collar, without kind of an altered neckline, it cuts very low, which is okay too for wherever you're wearing it to. But in this case, I really wanted the wrap to wrap nicely. So I turned that French curve over and you can see the line bows out. Rather than concave, it's convex. And that will make a huge difference in how this crosses and how much it covers in the neckline. So that French curve position doesn't change here. It just goes out and then bows back in, okay? All right, and then you'll have to make a back facing, and I showed it in that drawing also, how to make a back facing, because you don't have a collar. In this pattern, the collar finishes off the neckline. And then that's it. It's really fun and easy. And then one thing I wanted to show you is I learned this just a couple weeks ago, okay? And it's my new fun thing, and it's so cool to show you. Okay, so it's when I had made some ties. I can't remember what it was for, but I had made some ties. And one of my friends, I will call her my friend because I think she's my friend, she came into the store and she looked at one of my ties and she said, "That really looks homemade." And I said, "It does? Really? You think that looks homemade?" She goes, "Yeah, it really does." She goes, "Let me show you how to do it." So I always have a machine here at the store. So she came down, we cut some fabric, and she showed me how to do this cool trick. And I thought it was pretty cool, you guys, so I'm going to pass it on. And you may all sit out there and say, "Oh, I've known that for 20 years, but I didn't know it, so I'm going to pass it along." So the pretense is you want to make a really thin little tube like this, you know, a tie. But you don't want any stitching on it. So you want to invert the tube. You know, you're going to invert the tube of fabric. And I know there was a tube turner, and I bought those tube turners, but I have no idea where those tube turners are. But you don't need anything. Which, you know, I love stuff that you don't need anything with. So you can do this on the serger. Actually, she showed it to me on the serger. But the negative of the serger is the stitch on the serger is so wide that the tube has to be wider, where I wanted these little skinny tubes. I wanted narrow ties. So I went to the sewing machine. So what you're going to do is just pull out both the top and bottom thread and just pull it out longer than what your piece is. It doesn't have to be as long as, because you're going to be pulling it as you go, but just to start, just pull it out. And then what you do is with the thread, and here's my long thread, okay? And you're going to lay it on the right side and put the right sides together and stitch, you know, like a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're not cutting your thread. The secret is you want your thread to be continuous. Okay, you got that? Okay, then the next step is, see, my thread is all the way down here and I've stitched this whole thing and my thread is continuous. So what I can do now is when I start to pull, it's going to pull, and you can just help it in the very beginning. Actually, what I've realized is after doing so many of these, kind of if you just hold your fingers right and almost like you form a little tube, it'll go down the middle. If it doesn't start right away, just go back and be patient until it goes down. It goes down the middle. You could invert it, you could help it, but you can kind of just feel it. Just feel the end, because I'm pulling on the thread that started this whole thing, and all of a sudden, see there, it goes. And then once it goes, then you can do this number, and it will go down the tube. Look at that. Is that the coolest trick ever? Okay, and then once you have the part that you started with, the whole thing will go. I probably gathered it a little too aggressive there. I got too excited. Yeah, I did. Just back it up a little bit. And this is a really skinny tube too, you guys. When I sewed this, I thought, boy, I should have showed them with a bigger tube, but that's okay. So I've never gotten stuck right in the middle, you guys. I don't know what I did. I just pulled too many gathers at one time. All right, so just keep pulling and the whole thing will invert. There we go. And the cool thing about this is you can make them, see how narrow I made this? You can make it, you don't have any stitching. And then you just press to the seam to one side and you get these really beautiful ties that don't have any stitching on either side. Okay, wasn't that cool? Tip for the day. How to make a little tie. No stitching. All right, so thanks to my friend. She knows who she is. That was really nice of her to show you. Now, again, you can do it with the serger. Take the serger thread, just let it go. But I did it with a sewing machine, and I liked it even better than the serger because I could make the tubes skinnier. Okay? Okay, so that's how I did these. And then what I did that was really fun is if you look on the inside, this is this Italian silk that's from Italy. And it has on the border, it has, check this out, it has the name of the manufacturer, 100% Seta, that's called Silk in Italian, made in Italy. So both of my ties on the inside, I used my words on the selvage. So that's kind of like having a little label on the inside. It's your fabric label, so there you have it. Kind of cool, huh? I didn't do it on the outside. I decided that nobody really cared if my fabric was made in Italy on the outside. But next to me, there it was, my secret little thing. Okay, so there's all my secrets. Okay, so let's go on to the next picture. Okay, you got how to do this, concave in the neckline. I mean convex, not concave, convex. And it makes a big difference. You'd be surprised at how much more neck coverage you will get by flipping that French curve over the other way. Okay, then this is the designer at Neiman Marcus, and we have his fabric. His name is Dries van Noorten, D-R-I-E-S, Dries van V-A-N, Norton, N-O-R-T-E-N, N-O-R-T-E-N. And so if you look up, like right now at Neiman's, this is the fabric. Well, a lot of this fabric is actually his. I didn't even label it all. But anyway, this is his. And I saw it because I went shopping at Neiman's, and it was on the mannequin. And I said, that's my fabric. So I didn't realize, I mean, a lot of times you guys, when I buy the fabric, they say it's designers, but I don't necessarily translate all of the designers as to who it is. I know I should, I know. But anyway, I don't. So what I did with this fabric is, let me show you this fabric just for a second. It's got this really cool pattern to it. And so I looked at it and I thought, you know what, I could get a lot of use out of it if I didn't necessarily always use the gold. So I decided to make a little wrap and do knit for the sides. So I used, this is 5201, tonight our fabrics are 5200. Then I did the side panels are, oh, I don't have the black number. You know what, I had it and my document didn't save and I missed it. But it's the black knit two-way stretch. It's a textured. I think we only have one. And we'll give a close-up on it so you can see that texture. Anyway, so I used that, so I used my knit sleeve and my knit armhole. Let me show you really the picture, the inspiration that I got was just there's all kinds of angles. Just go for the angles. And I love the black trim. Those were my two takeaways from that picture of his. Go for the angles. Pardon? Yeah, that one. The one you had. Go for the angles and accent it with black. Those were the two things I just really liked about that. Now that particular fabric has a little bit of blue on it. Mine, it has the gold, but I don't have any blue on that one. But anyway, going back to this one, so I decided this could be worn a couple ways. I did black on the outside, but then if you decide you want to wear it open, and I just had one button closure, if you want to wear it open, you could easily just let this fall back, and you could let the gold be exposed. I thought that would be kind of cute too, and wear a shirt underneath it. And then I decided to make a little scarf, because the scarf, it could be, we've talked about before, I made it long enough, whereas it could be a belt, or it could be a little wrap, or it could be a little scarf. So just all kinds of fun with that. Just a fun fabric to play with. All right? Okay, so now let's look at your ideas. Now, some of these ideas I actually got from you, and then some of the ideas I got from me. And I'll show you why I included each of them. Okay, this was from you. Isn't this beautiful? This is a dress she wore to her son's wedding. And so because of its denim lace, I did put that blue in. We've got some blue lace tonight I'll show you. But I love this. Beautiful, you know, you can see just a few little touch of buttons there. It's a beautiful V-neck. Now notice that V-neck had to show a little more cleavage, which is fine. Her dress, her wedding, her event, you know. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, this one was sent in. She just saw this in a store. If you want to make that peplum, what you do is you make a cut, add seam allowance, and put it back together. That large black and white polka dot. I thought that was really cute. Okay, and then the next one. Yeah, I just wanted you to see what you could do with belts, fitting, different fabrics. This is a knit, so you can get much closer to the body, sleeveless, all those variables. Let's look at the next one. This is Franza Schuler, and what she did is just a little bit of leather in the trim, in between the blouse and the facing, and I just thought that was really pretty. Notice again, that neckline is convex. See how much coverage they get through that V-neck, through that wrap? So, you know, that obviously that designer really cared for. So when you look at wrap necks or wraps, pay attention to that neckline because it will make a huge difference as to how that neckline, you know, covers for you. Okay, and then this one I just liked the idea. I loved, you know, asymmetrical. It's actually asymmetric at the top, not the bottom. But look at the additional panels I thought could be cute. And then look at the price, just expensive, okay? So I thought, geez, and then I think that might be the last one. Yeah, okay, so just some ideas. And all the fabrics I selected tonight are all fabrics that will work well with the wrap top. Did you sew the tie at the top on the right side? Did I sew the tie at the top on the right side? Yeah, just give me more specifics. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Sorry. Did you mention the new jacket pattern that is coming out this week? No, those are the new patterns. The new patterns are coming out. We have lots of behind the scenes issues. You know, I know you guys don't know everybody, but anyway, if I start talking about it, I'll get sad. There's a lot of people having serious health issues. So we're doing our best, and it's good. It's okay. Everybody's pulling together really good, but we have some issues. Did you sew the toe at the top of the right side? Just reword that question so that I can understand it a little bit better, and then we'll go from there. Okay? And then we'll start showing fun fabrics. Yay, fabrics. That's where we start. Remember, the fabric always wins? The fabric always wins. All right, let's start doing fabrics. I'm going to get my fabrics page. It's my cheat sheet. And then I'm going to remind you to get out, or at least search for, this is New York Fashion Week, Pantone colors. New York Fashion Week, Fall 2024, Pantone colors. Because if you get these colors out, if you get these colors pulled up, you'll see what a lot of these colors are. Okay? Okay. All right, let's get started. So this first one is my Dries Van... Oh, sorry. Did you sew the thread at the top of the tie across? Did you sew the thread at the top of the tie? No. No, I left the top open. I left both ends open. And then here what I did, I don't know if you, can you come in close on that? I tie the bottom of mine. You just tie them really and pull them really, really tight, and then you clip the bottom. You can't, you know, it won't fray. That's what I do. And then the top I stitch on. You can do other things, but that's what I did in this particular case. Okay? Like this one that I have on, I serged the end of it and I tucked it under so that the seam didn't show. Okay? Okay, so we're at 5200s. 5200s, I think. Are we 5200s? 52. I'm sure we are. I'm not sure. Go down to go to silhouettepatterns.com, fabrics, go view all, and then go all the way to the bottom. This is 100% viscose. This is Dries Van Noten. It's Dries Van Noten, I think is what it is. It's 100% viscose and it's really pretty. It's so in right now, you guys. You've just got to know that these fabrics are just absolutely lovely. I put this with it because this black, this texture is really beautiful. It's a silk cotton blend. And it's just lovely. I mean, it's really lovely. There's not a lot of it. It's a woven. It's a twill weave, but it's really pretty. Yeah, the camera's having a hard time getting in on that black. It's a very dark black. I don't know how else black can be except very dark, but it's a very dark black. I really like the idea of that fabric when I saw it paired with the black. So I gave you a black here. There's another black down here. They both go really well with all these weights. Now keep in mind that our fabrics, our new patterns, well, they won't officially, but you're going to be able to see them tonight, maybe, you know. And some of these fabrics were used in the pattern. So I put them up now so that if you decided you wanted to get the fabric, you could. And this is an example. All right, so I guess I don't need to get that off. This is just a really beautiful viscose. And it's great for a blouse. It's great for a wrap blouse. It's beautiful for a wrap blouse. And this whole color, if you're looking at your, this is that buck horn brown. If you're looking at the Pantone chart, which is what I wanted you to look at so that you can see all these colors. And then there's a color on there called tomato. And that's what this is. I just love these colors, you guys. I've had these fabrics now, well, probably 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. This is 100% cotton. I just love them. I just love the colors. And I hope when you see the photo shoot and, you know, and all that stuff, you'll see how to play with them, how to mix them. They're just very, very pretty. All right, so that is, it's called a tomato. Or cream, tomato cream, I think it's called. So pretty. They're just so pretty. I just love them. This is 100% cotton. Now it has the sheen on one side. It's a little bit, and it's a little more matte on the other side. I think this would be great for like a shawl. Do the shine to where you have just a little bit of the shine showing, and then the rest is matte. Just a great way to do this. And this is 5205. All right, and of course you know what's really big is what's coming next, don't you? You got it. Mr. Corduroy. But next week maybe I'll wear my pants. I did a pair of pants in here. These are new and they're the pleated pant. So I did a pair of pleated pants out of this. And this is amazing fabric. It's not like the old corduroy. It's so far removed from the old corduroy. It's just, I can't tell you, it's just pretty. I mean, they're really pretty. And everything about this is new. You can tell it's just new and contemporary. How it drapes, how it sews. There's literally channels in this fabric to where the back is like an olive green. It's just beautiful. And it gives a really, well, when you see the pictures, you'll understand more, but it's just a beautiful fabric. And of course, it goes with so many of these colors. So I'm going to leave it there on the outside so you can see that a little bit more. But it's definitely, you know, I think that when they were wanting to bring back corduroy, because, you know, the whole thing right now is the 90s and all that stuff that was popular in the 90s, which corduroy was. You just couldn't bring back corduroy as it was. I mean, not that it wasn't great, but it needed to be refreshed. And these fabrications that I've got 2 different colors. I'll show you the other one in a minute. It's just really beautiful. This is that same color. This is another designer. I put the designer up there of who it is. Again, because once I get the fabrics that has the designer's name on them, this would be a great wrap blouse. And again, you could do the sleeves in a, a shine, and then the base of the blouse without. So it just is a matter of, how you want to arrange it. You could do all shine. All shine works really well too. You can do all shine like with a jean. It's really cute to do all shine with a jean, I think. This fabric is like kind of the culmination of everything for fall, and it's a knit. So this is where these heavier knits are really coming into play. This is actually a terry. It's a French terry. It has stretch in one direction. It's 100% cotton. It's just a really beautiful, it's so pretty. Just fun. It's that is fall. There's the fall colors, a lot of earth tones. Okay, and then we've got this black. And I put this black in because all of these colors have a little bit of a tendency to have a black base to them. I mean, I know all colors do, but this textured black is just very beautiful. It is a woven. It's not a stretch even, it's just a woven. But it's really beautiful. It would really work well. Just, it'll work well for pants. If you're doing a pleated pant, the drape is just really nice on this. It's a cotton poly. Okay. And then this next fabric, it has stretch in both directions. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. Again, love the colors. Now, again, keep in mind that one of the big looks for fall is monochromatic. And so this is a great way to do it, a fabric like this. This is 100% cotton. It has stretch in both directions. Just a beautiful piece of fabric. And this would be beautiful monochromatic. Look at that drape, 100% cotton, and the drape is incredible. Okay. And then we have this other color corduroy that I was talking about. It's kind of like a gold. And a little bit lighter in the tone. A little bit lighter just in the fact that if you look back at this one, it's brown, but it has a light background. It has a olive background. This one is gold, but it has a gold background also. So it gives a much different look. It's so pretty. It's that crushed velvet though, and that crushed velvet is just going to be really popular. I'll have crushed velvets for you next week, but they are very, very, just really big, really popular. So go through your stashes. If you have crushed velvets, get them out. Crushed velvet knits is what you want. It's great drape. And also, you want them in the right color. Okay, so that's the first one. There's 11 in the top row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 2 corduroys. Let's answer some questions, okay? The thread trick to pull to right side, did you sew along the long piece of thread at the top to pull it through? Let me go back to my original sample because I had how I started it and I didn't pull that one through. So let me go back and we can do a little close-up of it. Okay, so this is how I started it. I've got a strip. The strip is like maybe 1 inch wide. My strip that I did, that I showed you all with, was narrower. I've got my thread, and my thread when I started is longer than the fabric piece. Can you see that? That's both my upper thread and my bobbin. Okay, then I just laid it inside. I put right sides together and just started stitching right here. Right there at the top, not across, just right there at the top. I started stitching down. Okay, and what you're going to do once you've stitched all the way, your thread's going to be longer, you'll just pull that in, and you can see how it's starting to pull in. And it's going to invert the whole thing all the way through the line. Does that help? Okay? Okay. Okay, when you say there is a lot of it, does that mean you're holding, does that mean there's not a lot of it? Does that mean what you're holding is all of it? Sometimes, many times, yes. Yes, so just know something about me, you guys. When I'm buying fabrics in New York, if I find 10 yards and it's beautiful, I'm going to buy it so you get it. Because there's a lot of beautiful stuff that is low yardage and nobody wants it, but I want it because it's beautiful. So we had I'm not allowed to say it, but that designer that you had to go to a private room at YouTube, we did a private room for it, I can't say the name. You know, we only had 20 yards of that. That's all we had. I mean, it sold out that day, but I would rather buy the 20 yards and give you all access to it than not buy it. That's kind of how I feel. So yeah, sometimes yardages are very minimal. Not always, but sometimes, yes. Sometimes we have 2 bolts back there. Okay. You never know. Okay, how is the thread secured at the top? Well, when you start the thread, okay, you take your bobbin thread and your needle thread and you pull it. Then you lay it inside of right sides together and you just start stitching. So it's secured when you start stitching, even though it's going down the middle. Just try it, you'll get it. It's real easy. Okay? Cool little trick though. Okay, any other questions about the top 11 fabrics? We're good? All right. Hi, everybody. You know, on the Q&As last week, I got a chance to say hi, where you're from. That was fun. It was fun to see really literally people across the world. That was really fun. But we appreciate everybody being here. I had trouble opening up the private fabric. I was not able to open to see the fabric. You had to copy and paste that link. It worked. I mean, the fabric sold out, so. Yeah, no, it worked until the fabric was gone. I mean, it worked. I mean, you just copy and paste. When you copy and paste, be very careful that you don't add any spaces at the end or at the beginning. Because if you add any spaces when you do a copy and paste like that of a URL, it won't understand. So be careful of that, just FYI. But it did work. The fabric's gone, so, you know, it wasn't our intention to deceive anyone. It was just our intention to get it out there we weren't allowed to say who it was. And it worked. And I talked to my guy who I buy fabrics from. He was fine with that. We just couldn't say who it was, and we just couldn't, you know, put it up. But okay, would you please put 5203, 5207, and 5210 by the 5211? Sure, I'm not sure if I can remember all those numbers. 5203, which is this one. By this one. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, everything goes together, you guys. 5207, 52010, it was already besides. That's this one. 5207 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's this one. These are all the same 2 designers, and the tones are so very similar. So you can't go wrong. The whole reason I put these up tonight was because they all go together. And you know, remember, if you go back, that was the whole reason of the fabric sales, was because if I only put up 6 fabrics, to me it kind of ruins the lot, where all of these blend with one another. They're all good and they could all go together. So they're all going to match tonight, okay? Hopefully that's what you wanted, okay? But they are all going to go and they're all going to be beautiful. They're going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to look really fashionable because this is what's in style. Okay, so let's go to the bottom. So we did 12 at the top. No, sorry, we did 11. So the 5212, we've had this up before, and I did a shirt out of it and I love it, or a blouse. But I put this up because somebody, number one, had requested it. Number two, I had that navy lace dress that somebody had made and sent in. So I wanted you all to see that lace is a great option for summer, for fall. It's great for weddings. There's just so many good occasions that it works for. This is a beautiful cotton poly navy lace. It's just extraordinary. And if you're thinking about the holidays, it'd be beautiful for the holidays. Okay? All right. So that's 12. And then 13, this is just a really fun fabric. This is really, when you talk about a lot of our reversible knits right now, this is just going to be it. One side could just be like that, and the other side could be, you know, patterned. It has stretch in one direction. It's 100% cotton. I can put this out a little bit so that you can see a little bit better. Isn't that cool? Very pretty. Now I did the same with the blues. These blues look really, really nice together, and a lot of them go together easily, so that's the whole reason I stuck them together. I threw this one back in here just because we just had a few pieces left. This is a panel, and you can see it's a border panel, and it's 100% viscose. Great drape. Cute wrap. This would be a really cute little wrap. Do a knit wrap and then do a knit sleeve that goes with it. Okay, that's 5212, 5213, 5214. So now we get into some Chanels. These are not literally Chanels, but they are very Chanel looking and very fall looking. Very pretty. This is 5215. 5215. And you can see that is definitely reversible. It's really very pretty. Okay. There. Is it better? Yep, one side just has a little bit more pattern to it. So, and this blue matches perfectly to several of these blues. Very pretty. Great drape. It almost feels like it's a double fabric, but I know it's not, and I burned it, but it's kind of like it's got a crepe feel to it, and it's got a beautiful drape. This is 5216. 5216. And then 5217. Look at this, you guys. This is so pretty. Look at that. I called it a dark blue and white. Only because the next one's it's a lighter blue. Love the selvage on this. It's a woven. Just get some good looking jackets. Very pretty. You know, the wrap blouse you can do as a jacket. You could do with a little bit of, isn't that cool looking? Just pretty. And the selvage again, you know, if you go back to the one I did, the pink here, the gauze, it kind of takes on a little bit more like a jacket. You can use a heavier fabric. Put that selvage in the seam allowance, and it's just beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. All right, and then that's 5219. This is a reversible knit. It's solid blue on one side, and then it's got that sparkle on the other side. Again, great fabric. Stretch in both directions, really beautiful. And then 5220, again by request, I put the navy leather back up because I had all these navies together. Navy trim, navy piping, all of those great things that could be navy. I put up the navy leathers. So that's 5220. And that's it. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then the navy leather. Yay. It's a fun collection. Navy is, it's not navy so much as it's called blue. I can't remember the name of the blue. But the navies and blues are really big for fall, and then the whole earth tone thing. They're both great, great looks for fall. And it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be here before we know it. So we got to start sewing. Start thinking about it. At least start planning. How's that? At least start planning. Okay, so let's look at questions that we have. We'll answer any questions. And today is July 30. And I think we've had just a couple 100-degree days in Dallas. We've gotten so lucky. And the good news is there's possibly a hurricane out in the Gulf, out in the Atlantic. I think that's good news because it brings our temperatures down. It's not good news if you're in the Bahamas, that's for sure. All right, any questions? Diane's wrap dress. So it's $5 off typically what it is through tomorrow night. Easy peasy. And these are all variations of the same pattern. So you can really wear it lightweight with a lightweight garment with a knit, gauze. Don't forget to use your selvages. Silk shears, give a little bit of, isn't that beautiful? Or just have some fun with the cotton, which was what I have on. Okay, the goal is happy sewing. All right, y'all, so we won't see you Thursday. We'll see you next Tuesday. Next Tuesday we'll do the fall fashion forecast. Yeah, I still owe you a sew along and we'll do that, but we've got to do the fall fashion forecast first, then we'll do the sew along. Please show the zigzag again. Thinking of the mock tee with long sleeves. Enough stretch? I don't think so. Let me get it down. I don't think so. I don't think there's enough to do the mock tee. I could be wrong. It is a terry. I don't think so. You could do like just, you could use a different fabric for the turtleneck. You could do that, the mock tee. I just don't know if there's enough. I don't think there is. That's just an opinion. Y'all have proven me wrong many, many times. But just an FYI. All right. It's good fabric, though. Okay. All right. So that's it, and we'll see you next week. All right. Oh, a couple more questions. Sorry. Are we going to see the fall patterns tonight? That would be a no. I mean, we're working on them. We have one of our computer people working on putting them up. So you may see them, depends on how late you stay up. We won't formally announce them until Thursday, but there's lots of behind the scenes that has to take place. The pictures are gorgeous. The photo shoot was amazing, yada, yada. Anyway, so it depends on how late you stay up and what city you live in, okay? Okay. Will you please show the tomato cream floral again? Yes, of course. The tomato cream floral. This is 100% cotton. Isn't that pretty? Do we get a preview of the new patterns? Of course. We go to a lot of work to give you a preview of the new patterns. The goal is to see how versatile they are. We also have a class that you can sign up for along with the new patterns. We did that in the spring. We had a very good response. We're going to do that again for fall. We do, literally in that class, we do a video sew along. So you can visually sew the pattern. And then I show you lots of options that you can do with your new fall patterns. So that will be available also. Okay? Any day. It's coming soon to a theater near you. Your home. Okay, we're good with that? But like I said, these fabrics are up through Friday. There, how about if I tell you that? These fabrics are up through Friday, and you'll have the new patterns by Friday. I'll tell you that. Because that's why I wanted to put some of these fabrics up. Not just because they're good for the wrap, but they're also good for the new patterns. So we'll have a win-win. How's that? Okay? Should I measure upper bust when measuring my clothes? No. No. You guys, I've been doing this for a long time, and you can't get from your shoulder to your bust without me knowing what your upper bust is already. I don't need you to measure it. Measure your clothes, not your body. I can't say that enough. Quit measuring you, measure what you like. We're going to duplicate what you like. We're not going to duplicate you. Okay? That is so profound. Profundity. All right, ladies. We'll see you. Love you. You know that. Bye.